places, a book called Scripture and the Authority of God, I think is what it was called in this country. It's called the Final Word or the Last Word in the US. He develops it there. He developed it many years before in a lecture and hints at it in a number of his writings. He has a 5-act thing, but he has Act 1 as creation, Act 2 as the fall, Act 3 as Israel, Act 4 as Christ, Act 5 as the Spirit and the Church, and the new creation is the end of Act 5. So that's the way he sets it out. Other people have said, well, there are problems with that because really the new creation, is a separate act coming with the return of Christ and final judgment. It isn't just the tail end of Act 4, so we need to have that. So some people then made it 6 acts by expanding his 5 into 6. So there are different ways in which people have developed it. This one is quite close to the way that Samuel Wells, in a book called Improvisation. He has a chapter there interacting with Tom Wright. And I think, I've not checked this, I think that is the way that he does it. It was certainly in the light of my own thinking and tweaking it. I used to work with Tom's 5 acts, and then thought, well, actually, I prefer this model. I think partly because each of the key acts then is an act of God to which we then have to respond, and the fall is our broken, inadequate, rebellious response, and we can see broken, inadequate, rebellious responses in Israel and the church as well. We see the proper human response in the story of Christ. Christ is at the centre of the drama in Act 3, and we do have a clear distinction between the church and the new creation. I think those do need to be kept separate. So that's the one, after running with Tom's, tweaking it sometimes to 6 acts, that's the one I now tend to work with. But, there are pros and cons of different approaches. I think the key thing is that, you have quite a lot of agreement about the basic building blocks, whether you have 5 or 6 and where you divide things up. I think it doesn't matter